it's slowly recording. Okay, so this topic we're looking at is data handling. It's all about data types, which you've seen before, some charts that you've seen before, and then averages, which I know you've definitely seen before. So we're just going to have a look through some key bits today about data types. Okay, so the second slide, which is this one, and why doesn't it want to change? Oh, there we go, types of data. Okay, so data is in two types. These got posh words beginning with Q, and if you play Scrabble, these are great for Scrabble, but not for much else. Okay, there's qualitative data and there's quantitative data. Now, quantity is an amount of something. So if you think that quantitative data with an N is a number, okay, so if you can collect data in terms of a number, so number of children in a classroom, number of people suffering with coronavirus, number of people on the online call, that's all written as numbers, okay? Measurements, heights, anything you can record with a number is called quantitative data, all right? And qualitative data, that's the other one, the one with an L, that can only be written in words. So if I said to you, what's your favorite fast food place? What's your favorite color? What car do you have? Any of those sorts of things is qualitative data. Okay. So they're the two main types. It's really straightforward. And what I want you to do for me is to go on to slide 3, which I'll go to in a second, and then basically try and work out which ones are which. You can just write down the answers. You don't have to write down the questions. Okay. So quantitative data is numbers. Qualitative data is not numbers. Anything that's not numbers. Okay. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to have a go at these. First two questions is, can you give me some examples? So the first one is qualitative data. If you need to go back to slide 1, you can. Give me 3 examples of each. So you can use the examples I've just told you. Okay. And then question 3A and B, and then you can literally write 3A and B, whether it's qualitative or quantitative. If you want to be lazy, be lazy. Just go QUAL or QUAN. That'll do. You don't have to write any more of that, okay? I'm kind. I'm so kind. New year, new me. And I'm just going to give you, I'll give you a couple of minutes to just work through those. If you get stuck or you're not sure, ask in the chat. And what we'll do, what we're going to do each lesson, so between this and the Hegarty Maths, is all your workings out and the work you do, photograph it and then upload it to the assignment that's set in Google Classroom, just so I can keep an eye on what you're doing and making sure that we're not completely and utterly gaga and crazy about what we're doing. So I'll give you, 2 minutes? 2 minutes should be long enough. Yeah, qualitative is a quality. It's things like a color, a name, anything that's not a number. If you're done, you can say done on the chat. That means I know where we're up to. Good skill, Sarah. Can you give me your 3 answers to question 1? Just type them into the chat for me, and we'll just check. And then somebody else can do question 2. Okay, time and date. Interesting. I'm happy with date because I would suggest date can be written in words if you're talking about the 4th of January, which is today. Time is a number and it's a measurable thing, so it's definitely a quantitative data, not qualitative data. So date I'll let you have, but qualitative, if you remember what I was saying a minute ago, it's things that would be in words. Has anybody else got some answers for question 1? Is anybody else awake? Has everybody else fallen asleep? Or are you just really slow typers? Red. Red. Yeah, red, but okay. So a colour, Bailey. Take that. Yeah. Anything else? Name. Yeah. Anything like that. So a name of a person, name of a building, a colour. Height would fit into question 2, not question 1. So a country is definitely qualitative data too. Yeah. So anything that's a word, anything with numbers is quantitative. QUAN. Okay. So question 3. If we look at the number of cars and the color of cars, 3A number, so that tells you it's qualitative, and B is quantitative. Okay, so 3A is qualitative and 3B is quantitative. And then Eddie carries out a survey. So this is question 4. Eddie carries out a survey, and and we'll just check where we've got to about the pet dogs his classmates own. Okay, decide if they're qualitative or quantitative. Right. How many dogs each person owns? Is that a number or a word? That's kind of what you got to think about. And if it's a number, it's quality. If it's no, it's quantity. If it's not a number, it's qualitative. Okay, so how many dogs? That's a number. That's a quantity. The color of the dogs. That's a quality. Yeah, quantitative. Brilliant. Well done, Bailey. The type of dogs. That's a name. That's a word. The name of the dog. That's a word. The age is a number, and the mass is also a number. Okay, so anything that's a word is qualitative. Anything that's a number is a quantitative. Really annoying, really confusing words, especially as they're kind of similar to each other. Unfortunately, that we have to split the quantitative into 2 different types. Okay, so the next slide is slide number 4. Quantitative can be split into 2 types: discrete and or continuous. Okay, discrete data is things that can only take certain numbers. So we're only looking at numerical data now, okay? And there's discrete and there's continuous. Discrete is it can only take a certain number. So the example given on the slide is the number of children in a classroom. Because you can't have a decimal of a person, you can't have half a student. I know sometimes, some of the students come in and they're half awake, or they're half listening. You can only actually have a whole student. So number of people is always discrete. You can't have a decimal. Okay. House numbers are another one. That's really interesting. They can only take certain numbers as well. They can't be shown as decimals or fractions. House number, you never see a house number on a street that's 13.5, for instance. It's always a whole number. Now, continuous data is basically anything that can be measured. So you can measure time because it can take any value, heights, lengths, distances, weight, volume. So anything that has a unit with it, in effect. Okay, so anything that has units is continuous data. Anything that can be measured. So the height of the student in a class, that's definitely continuous. The number of students in a class is discrete. Does that make sense, or do you want me to give you some more examples? So in the chat, type sort of get it, don't get it, got it. Sort of get it, okay. Kinda, got it. Who's the last? Henry. Sort of get it, okay. Right, let's have a look at what I'll do. Let's have a look at the next slide, which is the questions. Let's do the first couple together, as in I'll read them out and we'll have a look, okay? And then I want you to just write A through K, and then this time you can just write D or C, discrete or continuous. You don't have to write the whole word out because otherwise it'll take forever, okay? The number of people in a room. So this matches what I said a minute ago with the number of kids in a classroom. That is discrete because you can't have a decimal of the number of people in a room, okay? B, the mass of a book. Mass is weighed in grams. Grams has a unit, therefore it's continuous because it can take any value. So the book could weigh 20 grams, it could weigh 21 grams, it could weigh 21.5 grams, it could weigh 25.623 grams. You can measure it, therefore it takes any value. Okay. The number of pages in a book, I'm going to argue you're not going to rip a page out or rip half a page out or anything like that. It's a fixed number. It's, so your exercise book, I think, has 80 pages. Therefore, it's discrete. You can't have a decimal of a page. Okay. And then D, the length of a line. Length is measured with a unit, centimeters, meters, miles, whatever, and it can take any value. But what if it's written half a page? It's not half a page. I don't care if it's written half a page. The number of actual pages in a book, there's a fixed number. You can't have a decimal of a page. And I know some, textbooks have the bit at the beginning where it doesn't have actual page numbers, but if you counted the number of pages in a book, it can only take a whole number of numbers. Okay. Have a go at E, F, G, H, I, J, and K. If you're not sure about any of them, just ask in the chat. Okay. So discrete and continuous. D for fixed numbers. E, the time taken is continuous. Correct. Time is measured in seconds, minutes, or hours. It has a unit, therefore it's continuous. Correct, sir. F is confusing. Right. Put in the chat what you think F is. D or C. Good, you've all gone D. Brilliant. That's right. People argue that you can have half sizes of shoes, but that's still a discrete value. You couldn't have a quarter of a shoe. You couldn't have 0.5 of a shoe. You couldn't have anything else. 0.3 or point anything else. They're set values for shoe sizes. Brilliant. Well done. There's no units. Good. Keep going. Just say done when you're done. and I'll just run through the answers, and then you're free to go and do the Heggerty task. Well done, Bailey. Thanks, Ollie. Well done, Henry. Cool. Right, I'm going to rattle through the answers. So we talked about the size of shoe being discrete. The number of glasses in a dishwasher has no units, so therefore it is discrete. Okay, the volume of water, volume, has a measurement. It's continuous. Number of songs on an album, discrete. Weight, continuous. And number of people, as I said, is always discrete. Okay, so there's just the two different types of data, qualitative and quantitative, and then quantity is broken into discrete or continuous. The Heggerty task is kind of short. I think there's only a few questions on it. So I'm going to finish up here. If you're stuck, right, so I'm just going to show you now. I'm going to switch slide to this one. Okay, so if you're looking at my slides, you should now see Google Classroom. Okay, at the top of Google Classroom on the stream is the assignment, data handling. If you click on that, if you're stuck at any point, I'm going to go to the instructions slide. You've got two options. Okay, class chat, you can ask a question in there. If you're stuck on the Heggerty, ask a question in here. You've also got the private chat on the right hand side, which I can't do. And when you're finished, can you just do a snapshot of your work and upload it? If you need a video instruction on how to do that, then I can send you that. But just take a little photo on your phone or whatever and just upload it to show me your work on there. I'll see your Heggerty work anyway. Okay, but if you're stuck, class comment's fine, or private comment. Private comment just comes back to me. Class comment, anybody else can see. So that means if you're stuck, somebody else can help you. I think that's it. Any questions? No? Okay. If you do, you can stay in the chat and ask. Otherwise, I hope you're all safe and well. I will see you again. I think our lesson is on Thursday. Fingers crossed there'll be a few more students on that call. Have a go at that Heggerty task. Upload your work, and I'll see you Thursday. Enjoy the rest of your week. Take care, guys.